we trying this again? Cross fingers and
We're
toes. I
live.
think we're live. I think we're live.
We did it. We did it.
Restream.
We broke the algorithm. All right. See ya. As I was saying, I guess we're live, folks. So stay tuned and stay on live on Instagram. But nevertheless, thank you so much for all of your efforts. For those that don't know, we just experienced another issue with our servers. There's some internet crash in the world. I have no idea what it's tied to, but it impacted Restream and our show. So Sia, kudos to you. I know it took a lot of work to get us here, and we're actually live now. So this is amazing.
You're welcome, my friend. I did absolutely nothing other than text them and you like, why are we not live? Why are we not live? Why are we not working? And so there you go, my friend.
Nope, it took a lot of effort. Don't kid yourself. We've been doing this, working on this since 9 o'clock, so for 2 hours. But I know this is my favorite time of the year, and I wanted to ask you quickly, like, what do you think about now that it's fall, we're changing seasons? Like, what are some things that come to mind for you?
Okay, first and foremost, I love the fall. It's my favorite. I love the changing of just, it's like the heat intensity of summertime. And it's like kind of making way for the calmer, peaceful, cooler weather. And quite frankly, I think the older I've gotten, the more I don't love summer and the more I love fall. So I'm loving like the opportunity to like sit by a cozy fireplace and have that warm, cocoa or coffee or tea, and chill with a book, good podcast, like the peel.
Like the appeal?
But yeah, but one thing I don't like, the older I'm getting, the allergies. Everyone that's out there, watch what you eat and whatnot so you can shorten your allergies because it's killing me right now, my friend.
I could tell you're struggling and you've been sneezing backstage like crazy. So thanks for chugging through and plowing through. For me, this time of year means so many things. As you know, I'm a diehard sports fan, Chicago sports nut, right? This week is one of the few times in the year where like all the major sports are playing, right? So the Chicago Blackhawks have already started their season. The Bears are playing. Unfortunately, the Cubs and Sox aren't, but Major League Baseball is still going. And then I think it's Wednesday, the Bulls start. So we have like all four major league teams, pro teams playing at once, which is a super cool thing. And then, of course, it's gala season, right? I have so many upcoming amazing events and partnerships that I just want to highlight coming up. We have the SLSF, the Special Leisure Services Foundation, which we've had Anne and Megan and Liz on previously, and Journeys and Beth Neighbors Power. She's been on before as well. I'm serving a few high schools in the region, Notre Dame and Bishop McNamara coming up. And then we're, Giving Tuesday is an event we really highlighted last year. We're getting ready to do another streamathon, which we're like 60% full with guests already. So I don't know, we might have to extend the 2-hour streamathon to 3 if you're cool with that, Sia. But on Giving Tuesday, go ahead. Yeah, I know. You're going to say yes.
I have no life. Sure, why not?
I know. That's why I love you. But in another cool thing that just happened, Jerry's Cafe in Arlington Heights, Illinois is an amazing cafe employing people age 22 and older with various abilities, making sure that they can have a good, thriving life and being employed in a welcoming environment. And after the streamathon that night at the Arlington Ale House, I'll be calling bingo once again for their bingo Giving Tuesday event. And so I'm super excited to have that. And speaking of bingo, as you know, we supported Brandon Lee and the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Foundation fundraise effort. And I'm happy to say this is the most she's ever raised, well over $6,000 for breast cancer research. And I was super happy to help her by calling bingo as well. And of course, without our partnerships, we would not be. And of course, we have some amazing sponsors too, Sia. It's also tattoo season for me. I feel like I've been with Patrick the last few times over the last few months, getting some awesome updates on my Pearl Jam mural. But if you don't know, Patrick Cornolo and Speakeasy Custom Tattoo are located in the Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago in the historic Flatiron Building. With over 30 years of experience, they have a curated staff of magnificently talented local and international artists, and they continue to host monthly guests from all over the world. Speakeasy is an appointment-only custom tattoo shop offering a wide range of styles in the most clean and relaxing atmosphere. Whatever it is you're looking for, they will absolutely help make your vision come to life. So please be sure to check out their artists on their website at www.speakeasycustomtattoo.com. Be sure to tell them Chris sent you, and it's quite possible you'll see me in the chair next to you when you go there next. So, Sia, as you know, I'm a fan of tattoos, and I'm also a fan of that amazing intro you created for the show. So let's get this thing started, huh?
Let's do it. Oh,
Come on.
well, maybe not.
Oh no. Well, that's all right.
No.
We're having
Hold on
issues.
a second. We're having minor issues. Minor issues. I can't play the video. Hold, please.
We'll give it one more good effort. You know how much I love that. I feel like I'm at a rock concert. And speaking of rock concerts, sadly, you rejected my offer to come next month to visit the Smashing Pumpkins at the Lyric Opera House of Chicago, celebrating Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness 30-year anniversary. You're not coming. It breaks my heart.
Look, if it wasn't for the fact I had responsibilities, I would 100% make it, because
So you're saying you have a life.
I may just show up just because, like, at this point, like, I'm so torn, because I know we had to make a decision, and I was like, I can't commit. So I was like, oh, just give my ticket away to someone local or one of your buddies.
I'm still holding it. But as you know, you and I have both been to millions of concerts, and for me, one of the most necessary and needed things after going to a show is like a good hot shower, right? And Legit. It kind of leads me into today's guest, Paul Schmitz with ShowerUp, and just hearing about the amazing work they do for the unhoused or homeless populations in 7 cities across America. ShowerUp serves those experiencing homelessness and anyone in need by providing mobile showers, laundry, hygiene resources, and personal care. It's their goal to shower grace, hope, and love with everyone. Of course, ShowerUp is a nonprofit organization. And Sia, as much as I would love to keep you on and razz you about not coming to the Pumpkins next month, we got to get to Paul and hear about the amazing work of ShowerUp.
I'm so excited for this conversation. You guys have some serious, great conversation. And hi, Paul. Bye, guys. Have a great chat.
Hey, guys.
Paul, thank you so much for joining me and accepting this invitation on the appeal. I'm so excited to have this conversation, to learn not only about all the amazing things ShowerUp does and is to people across the United States, frankly. And obviously you serve here in my backyard in the Chicagoland area, which excites me even more. But you have like a super cool background. Like you took a unique path. And so I want to just give you the stage, welcome you. And just, if you don't mind, tell folks who you are, how you got to be where you're at, and what ShowerUp's all about.
Yeah, Chris, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. So Paul Schmitz is my name, and I am an Illinois guy, born and raised in the Peoria area, and then spent really most of my life in Christian radio, spent 35 plus years in Christian radio. And during that time, obviously, I had a lot going on in my life, and, and there was a lot of opportunity to do some things that were, involved in the community. But it really was kind of just about 10, 15 years ago that I really got involved in serving and caring for those who are experiencing homelessness, for the people that you see on the street. And what really happened was a transformation happened in my heart that God really kind of started and then grew. It wasn't one of those things where you kind of go, well, I feel like I have to do this. I feel like I need to do this. It was more like a compelling thing because my heart changed. And as my family and I started serving and providing meals and clothing, we really started having conversations with people. And it's the conversations, like what we're doing right now, when you sit down and get someone's story and you really dig into who they are and not just kind of go, so why are you homeless? When you sit down and talk about people and you hear their story and you share your story and you talk about sports and you talk about the weather and you talk about all the different things that we all talk about, you build friendships. We began to see that there was a real need for something like hygiene. And we started doing some research and realized if you're experiencing homelessness, okay, you're probably going to be able to find a place to get a meal at least once a day. You're gonna probably find a place where you can get some basic services, mental health care and things like that. There are great resources for that. One thing that's really hard is finding a place to get a shower. Well, you and I both know that if you don't have a shower, what are the odds going to be that you're going to want to get a job, be able to keep a job, feel like, you're putting your best foot forward. And so that was really kind of the start of what ShowerUp began and became, was this idea that, you know what, people need something as fundamental as a shower to make a difference in their lives.
It's so, so true. And, you said a few words that, if you don't mind, I just want to get your take on. And we were talking briefly backstage, right? I think as society evolves, and in some cases, rightfully so, and in other cases, maybe it's a stretch or a reach, right? We're learning better how certain populations want to be addressed, right? And admittedly, as someone who doesn't experience homelessness or I don't, unless I work with great organizations like yourself or Journeys or some of the other partners of mine, I'm not around it every day, right? So I'm very much walking on eggshells now. Is it a homeless person? Is it an unhoused population? Like, what? Tell me what you're experiencing actually doing the work on the streets.
That's a great question, honestly, because we all want to be respectful, and we all want to, say the right thing. And honestly, there's been a real push to call people, unhoused, or people experiencing homelessness, things like that, because you want to talk about kind of what's happening to them and not who they are as a person. I remember years ago. I mean, this is, it wasn't uncommon 30, 40 years ago to hear someone referred to as a bum, because that was what everyone kind of referred to them as. Obviously, that's pretty derogatory and pretty mean.
Yes.
Today, there are some things, and we use the term, people experiencing homelessness. Most of the people that we serve and that we talk to and that we know who are in that community, they call themselves homeless.
Mhm.
They're not so caught up in the labels and things like that. And we honestly don't ever okay, so you're a homeless person, or so you're a person. We don't refer to them when we're talking to them that
Of
way,
course
because
not.
for us, they're just a person, and that's how we want to build that relationship. And our goal really is to break apart some of those barriers, those things that set us apart, those things that, we say, okay, well, that's them and we're us. And what we want to see is those barriers just break down so that we're all part of the same community.
Absolutely. And so well said, right? And I never considered, but now as you use the word bum, right? I now look back as a youth, and that's how folks were addressed as they were trying to catch a night's sleep on a bench in the park or what have you, right? And
Yeah.
so we have come a long way. I think, the work you're doing, and I can't wait to hear more about it now, with Shower Up, is helping break some of those stigmas and tearing down some of those barriers that have been in place to help folks that need a shower or need to wash their clothes, whatever that may be. So how did Shower Up come to be? You serve 7 cities across the United States. Like, this is no small feat. You're kicking butt, if you don't mind. So, like, tell us everything you guys are up to.
Well, I appreciate that. So this all started really in kind of a moment. It was a God moment. It was just one of those moments where you go, okay, this idea pops in your head, and it was this idea that I wonder if there's mobile showers that could be useful to people who are, on the street, people who are experiencing homelessness. Could we do something like that? And it was kind of in that moment where I really felt like God was saying to me, yeah, I want you to do that. I even argued with him. I argued with God about this because I was working full time. I didn't have time to do this. I didn't know how to do it. and,
All right, can I ask a question, Paul?
yeah,
So you founded Shower Up, if I'm not mistaken, with your wife. Is that correct?
right, yeah.
All right. Who wins more arguments, God or your wife? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
I often
it's
find that they're on the same team.
so funny. Yeah, and
So
so keep going, right? Like, it's just an amazing understanding of what it is you're called to do and putting it into action, right? I think so many
yeah,
people have these ideas and they have these goals to achieve, but they don't allow themselves to. They don't give themselves permission. And you gave yourself permission, giving up a 36-year Christian radio host career, frankly, to take a leap, right? That couldn't have been easy.
it was really challenging because I still had my job, and then we started doing Shower Up, and when we started it, it really was another full-time job. And so I jokingly say that, when I left radio 6 years ago, that I was leaving one 40-hour a week job, and basically just kind of going, okay, well, now I have one 80-hour-a-week job because I was working two 40-hour-a-week jobs at the same time. And so this has been the kind of thing where you start doing it, and the more you dig into it, and the more you start providing showers. I remember the first time we went out with our mobile shower unit, and it was basically just a converted box truck. We've kind of graduated to trailers now that are specially designed, but we had this box truck built. And the very first time we went out, one of our very first guys to get a shower came out, and I just said, and I don't recommend you do this to people, but I just said, so how was it? When was the last time you had a shower? And that's kind of a rude thing to ask somebody, but all right, we were in the middle of all this stuff. So I asked him that. He said, it's been 49 days.
Oh my gosh.
Since I've had a shower. 49 days. That's, okay, again, Illinois public school educated, that's 7 weeks, my math. 7 weeks of no shower. And what really made it special for him was that he had a service dog, and he was able to take his service dog in with him. And we let people do that. And there were a lot of places, most places won't let you take a service dog inside or take a dog inside because they don't want to deal with it. We're okay with that because we're mobile. And so that's been kind of the thing that we've seen now after providing over 80,000 showers for individuals. We've seen kind of a constant thing where people are just so grateful because getting a real shower is such a hard thing.
Say that again. 80,000 showers in how many years and how many cities? That's just unbelievable.
7 cities. Our very first shower was in 2017. And so since then, in 7 cities, this year we'll provide 20,000 people with a shower. In Chicago, we'll provide about 2,500 people with a shower. We'll serve at about 200 different events throughout the year.
Amazing. And so if you haven't already, we want to encourage you, go to showerup.org. There you can see all the information about the amazing work that they do, where their events, as they call them, are going to be hosted and located. So someone in your area who needs a shower can get a shower. If you haven't already, please scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to their website. Paul, we were talking, so name the 7 cities, right? And how did that start, and how is it that you're growing so quickly? 8 years, 80,000 showers, 7 cities, that's no small feat, right? So how are you scaling this, and what are some of your partnerships and ideas you have for the future?
Great question. I mean, that's a very involved question, obviously. So really, when we first started here in Nashville, Tennessee, was our very first city. We didn't know what to expect. And when you start looking at the growing rate of homelessness across America, 1 in every 385 Americans is experiencing homelessness this year. Think about that, 1 out of every 385. In some cities, in fact, most of the cities that we serve in, including Chicago, Wichita, Tampa Bay, Huntsville, Alabama, Memphis, and Chattanooga, it really is a much tighter number. It's more like 1 out of every 240 to every 260 people are experiencing homelessness. If you think about that number, that's a lot of people. And in Chicago alone and in the suburbs, you're looking at a population of people that would honestly be the 2nd largest city in Illinois. Yep. It's that big is the number of people. And so what we've seen is that when we go into a city, it really involves local community involvement, local donors, local volunteers, local partnerships. And that's the cool thing, is because we collaborate with other nonprofit organizations. The reason we are able to do that is because we don't take any government money. We're funded 100% by private donations. Individuals, businesses, churches, anybody who cares about what we're doing and who cares about providing some grace, hope, and love for people, that's who supports what we do. So when we collaborate with other organizations, we're not fighting with them on government grants or government money or things like that. We get a chance to work together and serve these individuals in a very meaningful way.
Absolutely. And you said it best. Showering them with grace, hope, and love, right? Which is exactly what it is you're doing. And as you know, I focus largely on working with organizations like ShowerUp on the fundraising aspect as an auctioneer. And I always think it's important for founders or executive directors or CEOs, whatever the head of the organization is, to talk about funding, right? As you just said, 100% of your resources are coming through private donations, partnerships, corporations, sponsorships, et cetera. So if you don't mind, talk a little bit about your budget, right? What does it take to run 7 cities, throughout the United States, right? 80,000 showers. Like, how much money's coming in and out, right? What are the expenses and donations look like for ShowerUp?
Oh man, this is a Shark Tank moment. Know your numbers, right?
No, generals are fine, right? I think it's important because obviously we want everybody to go to your website and kick $5, $10, $1, whatever it is you can contribute, folks. So please, if you haven't already, scan that QR code and give a donation, to ShowerUp. But talk about your budget because it's all privately funded. That's unique.
Yeah. So for running 7 cities, and again, this year we're going to do approximately, again, organization wide, not just Chicago, but all the cities that we're involved in. We're about 1,500 different events. This month alone, we're going to be serving at about 45 to 50 different locations, different events, just this month. And so we kind of do that. Through all of our cities, we're going to serve again like 20,000 showers. So we have 3 full-time staff people running the 7 cities and about 7 part-time people. The biggest expense we have would blow you away. It's our insurance. Insurance is so expensive, but on an annual basis, it costs us about $900,000 to operate the 7 cities.
Unbelievable, right? I never considered insurance, right? And now that I think about it, I was a park district professional for 10 years. I was a director of recreation. I was in charge of liability and risk management and all these different things. And I could only imagine, the slip and trip hazards that you have to overcome, right? Giving water and things of that sort, and people's physical capacities, right? You're not always understanding who it is you're dealing with. You're just trying to give them a shower. You don't know their personal background, right? Can they walk upstairs? Can they shower themselves? I could only imagine the insurance cost. I thought it would have been water, but I guess I'm way off.
Water is so cheap. that's the funny thing. Water is so cheap that it's one of our least least important expenses as far as that goes, from a budget standpoint. But insurance is big, and yeah, because really we want to make sure that everyone's safe and everyone's protected, everyone's cared for. But really, when you start looking at, okay, fuel and gasoline and propane. We run our mobile shower units on propane. And so we're running generators and tankless water heaters. Everyone that comes to us gets a clean towel. They get a toiletry kit. They get a private shower experience. So they go in, our shower trailer has 3 shower suites in it. And they're going to go into one of those shower suites. I don't like the word stall, so we call it a suite.
Sweet. I
And
love it.
they go in, it's air conditioned. In Chicago, our unit's actually heated too, because we'll actually serve on days when it's below freezing. So it's heated, air conditioned, LED lighting, private tankless water heater, unlimited hot water, locking door, and no time limit. We don't put a time limit on our friends. We just tell them, listen, take the experience, be as quick as you can, take as long as you need. And for some people, that's 10 minutes. For some people, it's an hour.
I love it. Be as quick as you can and
So-
take as long as you need. How inspiring, right?
Yeah.
It's creating urgency, saying, hey, the faster you go, the more people we can serve, right? But we're not in such a hurry that we want to diminish your humanity and your opportunity to get a dignified shower and become clean, right? And put your best foot forward, which is why I've been so excited to have this conversation, right? What it is you folks do just fills my heart. As I said, I work and partner with other organizations who tackle homelessness in their own way. And I can't wait to introduce you to them, because I could only imagine the collaborative opportunities that lie ahead in those introductions. But, we're getting ready to wrap up. We don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're busy, but is there anything, I didn't ask you, some things maybe you want to highlight about ShowerUp that will really make someone else want to scan that QR code? And if you haven't done it already, please do so and send a donation or look where you can volunteer for their next events. So Paul, is there anything else you want to highlight before we sign off?
I would just say this: everyone knows or has seen somebody stand on a corner with a sign, or they've seen the tents in the parks, or they've seen the tents under the overpasses and the bridges. We all want to do something. We all want to make a difference. And for most of us, we can't do something for everybody. We can't solve the problem, but we can do little things to make a difference. And whether it's scanning that QR code and making a donation to what we do, again, a mobile shower, Does it change everyone's life? No, but it can change someone's moment. It can change someone's day. It can be that thing that starts the trajectory to make changes and positive impact in their lives. But we can all do something. And so I would encourage you that when you pull up to that stop sign or that stoplight and you see somebody there and they're flying a sign, you feel uncomfortable, do this. Take a moment and just look at them and smile and give a wave. That's all you have to do. Acknowledge their existence. If we could acknowledge the existence of people who are going through a hard time, think of what kind of impact that can have on their day.
Unbelievable.
People who feel invisible.
So true, right? I think that speaks to the greater mental health crises that we're experiencing as a nation, right? You know, some of my passions with Walking Tall and what have you. And exactly right. People just want to be seen and heard and made to feel welcome, right? And so a simple smile, a wave, if you can't send $1, you know, somebody on the corner's way, you know, goes a long way. And what you're doing goes even further, Paul. And it's just been so inspiring to get to know you, to learn about the work of ShowerUp, how it came to be, what it is you're doing. And so before we sign off, I want you to point people in your direction. Obviously, we've been having that QR code up. If you haven't already, please scan it. Obviously, showerup.org. But how can folks connect with you, your website, your whatever it is you want to highlight? Now's your chance.
Well, the best thing you can do for us is come join us and volunteer. Super easy, no experience. We've made an easy on-ramp, and you can come really face-to-face with people and get a chance to hear their story and serve in a very easy way. If that's not something you can do, we would love for you to consider a donation. Again, we're privately funded by people just like you, individuals, churches, businesses, families who give what they can. No government money, no tax dollars. And we like it that way because that means that we all can be the change that happens in our world. So showerup.org is where you can go. And thanks for considering your participation, your level of giving.
Love it, love it, love it. Partnerships and collaborations are what it's all about. So I'm excited to volunteer for you folks in the upcoming months. So please, you got my information. If you're ever looking for a guy to help in any way he can, reach out. And as I said, partnerships earlier, I highlighted, Paul, our sponsor, Speakeasy Custom Tattoo. And if not for them, this show would not be happening. Their sponsorship enables us to have Sia and her high-end production, of course. And she does a lot of work, as I said earlier, Brilliant Beam Media. Without Speakeasy and Brilliant Beam Media, we wouldn't have this show. And so I'm just so honored that they believe in me. And because of they believe in me, we get to highlight great organizations like yours and ShowerUp, Paul. So shout out to Brilliant Beam Media. And then before we sign off, I want to highlight Towsy, and we're going to say goodbye. So, Paul, thank you so much. This has been an honor to have you. Have a great rest of your day, and hail, hail. The commercial. We're still having internet issues. Uh-oh. Well, that's all right. If we're having issues, no big deal. See ya. We'll just sign off and say good day to those watching and listening. As you know, we love Towsy and all they do for us as well, Paul. So thank you once again, and hail, hail. We couldn't go live. Now they don't want us to go off. We're still live. We're trying to play these. Nope. They wouldn't let us on. Well, Paul, that's because we broke the algorithm, and ShowerUp is such a great organization. They want us to keep highlighting you. So, see, how do we get out of this black hole?
I know. You know what? I think this is a sign, because remember I told you, like, YouTube's like, nope, we don't want outros anymore. So I think we just outro ourselves out.
All right, everybody, just leave the stream. Have a great day, everybody. See ya.